And welcome back to Zanpakuto Creation Series. This one comes to us from Carson Honko, who asked the question, who asked the question, what is Sakura Haruno's Zanpakuto? Sakura was actually one of the, I wouldn't say the first, but one of the early ones that I created a Zanpakuto for. She falls into a weird category. She's intelligent, but she is also very hot-tempered. She's very quick to anger. She's very physical. But she's ultimately a good person. So I had to figure out exactly what a Zanpakuto for her would look like. Would it be Keto? Would it be Elemental, Illusionary, Physical, Melee? What type of Zanpakuto really fits her type of personality, her belief system, her way of handling the world? So I came down to this. It is a melee type with a mild Keto kind of ability. But it is actually more of a melee type to fit her overall personality. Now, the type of Zanpakuto in terms of sealed, it's a katana. It's standard katana. Very few Soul Reapers have something beyond a katana. In terms of its release, though, its release is basically just a basic strike down. The name of the Zanpakuto is Hanakuma or Mother Bear. Its Bankai is Hanakumo Saigo no Torai, which is Mother Bear's last stand. And, as you can guess, the spirit of the Zanpakuto is a female bear. Brown bear, black bear, maybe a pink bear to match your hair. It doesn't really matter. It's a bear. What does the Shikai look like, and what does it do, though? The Shikai, for me, would look something akin to Wolverine's claws, but more like in a fist gauntlet, if you will, or a fist glove. Something that basically attaches and forms onto her hands, but she basically has these clawed gauntlets. I'd say they're about the length of what Wolverine's claws are, about a foot long in length. Now, what they do, really, they're very solid just weapons that are used for slashing, but they can also be launched with chains at the tip. The claws can be used for, piercing, slashing, and be used kind of like whip chains to some degree. A bladed whip chain at the end on some level. It can be used for launching. Now, that being said, unless she's reinforcing it with Ryatsu, that is not going to be a very good ranged weapon, because it's only going to be good for that one attack before it's now just kind of like a whip. She can obviously receive these things and do it again, but it's really only good for maybe like one slash, and then it turns into like a different functioned weapon. Where the mild Keto ability comes in is, it's not necessarily an ability of the Zanpakuto, but it's an ability that the user of the Zanpakuto would be able to use, and that's channeling Ryatsu Reishi through the claws to basically kind of like have a Reishi like aura around the claws, and use this again in melee combat. Now, if you want to use this as an idea of the actual ability of the Zanpakuto, I'm okay with that too. That's why I'm thinking maybe having it being like a melee / Keto type. What the Bankai of this would be is just an elaborated version of this, where the user is basically wearing a giant vest, enveloped in like a giant vest suit of all these claws, looking almost like a giant spiked bladed porcupine, if you will. Although it looks a lot more fierce than, like, say, a porcupine. They're not all like coming off the back. They're around her arm, they're around her chest, her legs, and she wears this like a suit that she can expand, open up, and use basically for intense melee combat. That I can't see them all having chains, but I could see her being able to judge some blades out of the suit to attack if she had to, and as always, being able to channel her Ryatsu through the blades. Now, Zanpakuto is pretty much useless against any attack that's Reishi or Elemental based, unless her Ryatsu is able to overcome the other Ryatsu. And it's a lot more of a precise Zanpakuto. It's almost a precision tool, if you will, especially in the Shikai, where you need to know where you're aiming with this thing. Otherwise, it's just going to be kind of useless in terms of how it functions. And again, it can be just overpowered, just like anyone else can. But I think this is actually fits Sakura pretty well. She's not a highly intellect. I mean, her bragged about being one of the smartest kids in the class in the part one, but that really doesn't show. If you actually think about it, that doesn't show a lot in the series, her actual intellect. Now, her ability to learn is impressive because she ultimately learns very advanced medical jutsu, healing jutsu. But she's not like she's not complex enough, I think, like a Shunsui, a Aizen, a Kisuke, a Shinji, though people who actually have legitimate Keto type Zanpakutos. She's not as complex enough in that sense to be able to, I think, have a legit, straight out Keto ability Zanpakuto. She's a lot more like honestly, she's a lot more like a Neji type character. Very aggressive, loyal, and does have an Aikido kind of ability that could go with the Zanpakuto, but not a true Keto type Zanpakuto, in my opinion. So that, in my opinion, is Sakura Haruno's Zanpakuto. But what are your thoughts? Do you think this kind of Zanpakuto works? Would you do something different for Zanpakuto if you create it? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.